Rayner's Revenge. Is Angela Rayner going to get rid of the Prime Minister and do us all a favour from our point of view? Yes, I think that is what's happening. Since she was booted from Cabinet last year over a tax evasion issue with a property down in Brighton, she has been on manoeuvres. She wants to get into the Cabinet, but she's not been given her due, in her opinion. Like most politicians, they are just in it for themselves. This Peter Mandelson scandal could do it, but it's not going to be immediate in my particular view. I think it's going to drag on because there is going to be a parliamentary inquiry. This is what we need to get into, and this is what I want to discuss. Now, the options are scarce for the Labour Party. Are they going to bring in the growler, Angela Rayner, Queen of the North, the Red Queen? Or are they going to bring in Mad Red Ed? These are the options we've got. It's a dire situation. Now, I am of the opinion, because I have a brain, that it's not necessarily what Starmer or Labour knew about Mandelson. This is just my opinion. It's what you can prove, because they are all lawyers. You've got Emily Thornberry, you've got Lord Mandelson, you've got Keir Starmer himself, even Sadiq Khan. They're all lawyers. It's not necessarily what happened, it's what you can prove. That's what the testing court, and that's what the test is. So they all knew about Mandelson, in my view. It's not something that's new to them.
Did IQs just drop sharply while I was away?
I just think they're playing politics over things that should be above them and should be above the offices that they hold. And I'm going to play these clips because they're quite instructive, and I want to play the clips. Now, obviously, they've had a lot of play today, so you may have seen them, but I want to give my view on what's going on. So we're going to get into the clips now.
Mr. Speaker, I asked the Prime Minister a very specific question. Did he know that Mandelson had continued his friendship with Epstein after the conviction? He says if he knew then what he knows now, but he did know. In January 2024, a journalist from the Financial Times informed the Prime Minister that Mandelson had stayed in Epstein's house even after that conviction for child prostitution. So did the Prime Minister conveniently forget this fact, or did he decide it was a risk worth taking?
Now, in my opinion, she's on point here. She had a good Prime Minister's questions today. This information, all the Westminster bubble probably know about it. Again, that's an assertion on my part. It's what is in the public domain, and that's what the Epstein files do. They do a drop like this on X, which is why they're going after Elon Musk and X so harshly, because they can't control the narrative and they can't control the feeding out of information on a drip basis. And Elon Musk has the power to topple governments, in my view, based on the free speech platform. And this is what they hate. And let's see what Keir Starmer's reply is to this, shall we?
Well, Mr. Speaker, as the House would expect, we went through a process. There was a due diligence exercise, and then there was security vetting.
I would say if the due diligence is that poor that it can't pick up these things with Lord Mandelson, you need to review that process. It's like the migrants coming over and we're processing them and giving them asylum. If the process isn't delivering the outcome that you want, you change the process. So if you're not changing the process for the asylum system for the migrants, and most of them are approved, you would assume that the outcome of most of them being approved is the outcome that is wanted. If you do a deep dive into the Prince of Darkness, Mandelson, who was a key figure in the last Labour government, and it doesn't bring up any red flags, then maybe the process is the problem, Prime Minister. Did you ever think of that?
By the security services. What was not known was the sheer depth and extent of the relationship.
The House of Commons isn't buying it. I'm not buying it here. Again, a phrase you may have heard me use before, plausible deniability. If they can't specifically say they knew, it creates what's known in legalese as reasonable doubt. It's why people get off when they have committed a crime or have been accused of committing a crime. It's the same thing here. It's about plausible deniability. Starmer knows exactly what he's doing.
He lied about that to everyone for years. And new information was published in September showing the relationship was materially different to what we'd been led to believe.
So we'll leave this clip here, but he's on the way out. That's the first clip. Now, the one that came before it is more damning, so I'm going to play that one now.
Prime Minister, tell us, did the official security vetting he received mention Mandelson's ongoing relationship with the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein?
So clear. Prime Minister?
Yes, it did.
It did. That's a career-ending move right there. He knows it. Parliament knows it. Everybody knows it.
As a result, various questions were put to him. I intend to disclose to this House all of the national security, prejudice to international relations on one side. I want to make sure this House sees the full documentation, so it will see for itself the extent to which time and time again Mandelson completely misrepresented the extent of his relationship with Epstein and lied throughout the process, including in response to the due diligence.
Now, it has come to light that apparently, allegedly, he did leak market-sensitive information to Epstein regarding the EU bailout that happened in 2008. Apparently he did leak that, allegedly. It's not been proven, but the Epstein files do refer to it. What I want to get on to now is, first of all, he says he wants to put national security to one side and anything that is sensitive to diplomatic relations or third countries is going to be redacted out. He wanted it to be controlled by the executive, not the legislature. He wanted to control it himself through his chief of staff, Morgan McSweeney. He has links to Mandelson. He is referred to as Mandelson's protege. On a sidebar, he's also got interests in the migrant hotels, and he keeps the interests for those migrant hotels offshore in the Republic of Ireland. So they're all on the take, all the time, for all different things. Parliament is going to control the inquiry now. Now, first of all, I'm going to play the pushback that Cammy gave, because she pushed back and said, no, Parliament needs to lead it. It can't be led by the executive. It needs to be led by the legislature. So I'm going to play that clip now.
Let's be clear. He says the Cabinet Secretary makes it non-political, but that doesn't make it independent. What we want is an independent look. The ISC is independent. The Cabinet Secretary works for him. We know that there will be a cover-up because this implicates the Prime Minister and his Chief of Staff, Morgan McSweeney. Exactly.
What they wanted to do was control the narrative and control the drip, drip, drip of information. They can't do that now, and we're going to get to that next, but they cannot do that completely.
A protege of Peter Mandelson. The Prime Minister chose to inject Mandelson's poison into the heart of his government on the advice of Morgan McSweeney. His catastrophic lack of judgment, telling us now that he did know, has harmed the special relationship. It has endangered national security. It's not the humble address, it's him. It's compromised our diplomacy, and it has embarrassed our nation. After all of this, does he have the same full confidence in Morgan McSweeney that he had in Peter Mandelson?
Prime Minister.
Morgan McSweeney is an essential part of my team.
That's the death now of the Starmer's government right there. His Chief of Staff, Morgan McSweeney, close friends with Mandelson, who is close friends, or was close friends with Jeffrey Epstein. Nobody in the country will vote for this ever. This is the last Labour government ever, and I'm here for it. It's so good that all of this is out in the open. I've always had suspicions. I'm very, very cynical in nature. I think that the entire careerist politician lobby needs to be ended. Everybody's got fingers in all the different pies, and I think that Mandelson had a lot of contacts and people that were valuable to the Labour Party. Oligarchs, people that actually rule and take decisions over us, like mass migration and the what's the phrase? The devaluation of our currency, the debasing of our currency to make it pretty much worthless. All of this is done at the behest of higher ups to make sure that wealth distribution always goes back to the top. This is what Labour wanted access to. This is what Labour was coveting. This is why they wanted Mandelson in America. This stinks to high heaven. I remember the expenses scandal from 15 years ago. It's like people have very short memories and they can't see that. They say they're going to change, they say we need a new type of politics, and they say it constantly, but they never change it. So let's just continue.
He helped me change the Labour Party and win an election. Of course I have confidence in him.
Yeah, he's going to be gone very, very soon. And then the death knell to Starmer come from his former Deputy Prime Minister, Angela Rayner. She agrees with the opposition, Kemi, that Parliament needs to control this, not the executive.
The Minister for giving way, and given the public disgust and the sickening behaviour of Peter Mandelson and the importance of transparency, in 2022 I proposed a humble address seeking information about PPE, which the party opposite resisted, and my honourable friend, the member for Hackney South, mentioned just before. Should we not have the ISC not have the same role now in keeping public confidence in the process?
So, we'll end that here, but yeah, Angela Rayner's on manoeuvres. Now, an interesting piece of information has just come out regarding what's going to be released, so I'm going to get to that now. The Met Police have opened an investigation into Mandelson, which I'm sure many people are aware of. They have requested that when Parliament looks at the inquiry, some information is held back because they don't want to prejudice a future criminal investigation and trial of the former Lord Mandelson. By the way, he's been stripped of his peerage, he's stepped down, he's been removed as Privy Councillor by the King, he's persona non grata, nobody wants anything to do with him. But yet again, I think in the swamp, in the bubble, in the political circles, it was very much an open secret. That would be my take. We didn't know about it. We may have had suspicions, but we didn't know about it. They all knew. They must have known. Alright? It's the same with any work environment. People try to keep things on the down low. But you know. Okay, that's just my take. But the situation is, when's he going to go? Is he going to go today? I don't actually think so. Is he going to go when he loses the Gorton by-election to reform, by the look of it? Again, I don't think so. He could hang on by his knicker elastic until the May elections. You've got to think of it politically from Labour's point of view. Obviously, they know he's not going to lead them into the next general election. They want less prime ministers than the Tories had in the last Parliament. So they're gonna put him out as a lame duck, and they're just going to keep him there for the sake of appearances until the next general election. Sorry, not the next general election. Until they get their new leader in, and they want to do it when there's going to be. If they did it now, the new leader would have to deal with losing the by-election in Gorton, and then they'd have to deal with losing the May elections as well. They'd rather do it all at once, clean sweep, and do it all in one stroke, in my view. Now, if you like this video and you think I'm onto something, make me aware. Do you think the Red Queen's going to be Prime Minister, or do you think it's going to be Red Ed? Like and subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day.